Good afternoon, folks. I'm Jack Mapes of Excel Fit Personal Training in Long Beach, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Today we're going to talk about aerobic training adaptations. Now, the word aerobic means that your body has sufficient oxygen at the cellular level to maintain the activity. Excuse me. So, when we think of the word aerobic, an aerobic activity is usually about 3 minutes in duration or longer. So if you can't maintain an activity for about 3 minutes, chances are it's not aerobic. Okay, because you don't have enough oxygen at the cellular level to maintain the activity. That's the characteristic of an aerobic activity. Now, when doing an aerobic type training program, there's certain adaptations, there are certain changes to the body that occur. One is changes to your cardiovascular system. Now, your cardiovascular system, cardio meaning the heart, so there's changes to your heart as you go on with your aerobic type training program. The heart will actually increase in size. And that's due to what's called the venous return, or the blood coming back to the heart that actually expands the heart. And after hundreds and hundreds of these, the heart actually grows larger in size because it has to accommodate for the stress. So if I were to take a human heart and if I were to chop it in half or dissect it and show you the inside, cross-sectional, you would see 4 distinct chambers. So the 2 top chambers are called the atrium, and that's where the blood comes in and actually pools. And the 2 bottom are the ventricles, and the ventricles is what supplies the force and ejects the blood throughout the whole entire body. So that's the anatomy, or the basic, the inside view of the heart. So what happens is that as your heart increases in size, and it can increase approximately 40% over a series of weeks, you're not only able to hold more blood inside the heart, but you're able to eject more blood per beat, which is called stroke volume. Stroke volume is the amount of blood ejected by the left ventricle measured in milliliters per minute. So your stroke volume increases also. Now what happens, because your heart's becoming more efficient, because it's getting bigger and it can hold more blood and it can pump more out per beat, your resting heart rate will go down. That's one of the trends that you'll see. That's what we look for as trainers, is we look for the resting heart rate decreasing. Okay? Not only will your resting heart rate decrease, but your exercising heart rate will decrease. So if I have you on a program and you're at week 1 and I have you at 5 miles an hour in a 5-degree grade, and let's say I measure you at 180 beats per minute, now let's say 5 weeks later I have you at the same incline, same speed, and I measured you at 155, that's showing a pretty significant decrease, and that's because your heart's become more efficient. It's become a more efficient machine. And if you can only think of how beautiful and how amazing our body is, that's what actually happens as a result of exercising. It adapts. So our body's amazing in that way. Now, not only will our heart change, but our vascular system will change. So our tiny tubes that we call the vessel system, as small as it gets, are the capillary beds. Now the capillary beds is where oxygen and nutrient exchange happens. So the walls of the capillaries are so thin that oxygen and nutrients such as amino acids and free fatty acids and glucose could pass through the walls and give the muscle what it needs, and it also takes waste products away. Okay, and we breathe it out through carbon dioxide. But that's what the capillaries do, and as time with the aerobic program, your capillary beds will increase. So when you have more capillaries, surrounding the muscle, you can feed it more and you can take away the waste, which will increase your endurance. So that's another cool part which happens with the capillary beds. Now there's also metabolic changes, and what I want to talk about when I mention metabolic changes, I want you to memorize a word called lactate threshold, and it's very important. And it's a really beautiful thing with exercise science, is that it's the point at which your body switches from using mostly fat to carbohydrate as fuel for exercise. So once again, it's the point at which your body switches from using more carbohydrate than fat. So one of the trends that you'll see with exercise is that over time your lactate threshold will increase. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that we might start off jogging at 6 miles an hour and use mostly fat, but over time we'll be able to jog at 7 miles an hour or 8 miles an hour and use mostly fat, which you'll burn more calories per minute, and most of those calories will come from fat. So your lactate threshold will increase. Okay? So through past clients and people that I've talked to with a casual conversation, they'll say, well, you know what, I waste half of my session away because, you know, me and my trainer do weights and we do core work, and then we go on the bike or we'll go on the treadmill and we'll talk for a half an hour, and I feel like he's not doing much. Well, if he doesn't really have a clipboard in his hand, he's not writing anything down, yeah, you're not doing much. Yeah, sorry, you are wasting your time, essentially. What trainers should look for is, we want to look for the adaptations. That's what makes training exciting, man. We want to see the machine change, the human machine change. So we want to see a decrease in resting heart rate, and we want to see evidence that your lactate threshold is increasing. Otherwise, it's a boring day, man. If it doesn't come down to numbers, and I don't see you, the physical body, or the machine changing, it's a boring day. It really is. If I don't write down my workouts, if I don't see those adaptations occurring, it is a boring, boring day. And it's, you know, I can remember times where you know, I haven't documented, and it makes for a very boring time. So that's why I'm trying to explain this to you, is I'm trying to make your exercise routine more exciting. I want to give you the insights on how your body actually changes, because that makes it exciting. You want to see that. You're going, shit, man. Oh my God, you're telling me I was at 180, now I'm down to 165, and so that's what makes it exciting. So I hope you learned a little bit today, and what I want you to do is, next time you're at your home club or your gym, I want you, if you're thinking about hiring a trainer that you know, or if you see someone that's impressive, I want you to take him or her aside, ask him if they know what lactate threshold means. If they can't explain it the same way I did, or better, I wouldn't hire him. By not knowing that crucial piece of information, your aerobic program is not going to be as effective as it would if they did know it. So that's me for today. I'm Jack from excelfitpersonaltraining.com. If you have any more questions, please feel free to give me a phone call. My cell phone, 310-748-1015. That's 310-748-1015. I appreciate your time. More videos are on the way. And you take care. Have a healthy weekend. Bye-bye.